Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Casual Hour, a podcast ostensibly about video games, but mostly about the month of July. I am Bobby Pease, your host tonight. Joining me, as always, the gamer on the go, Chase Kinnicky, and the gamer turned dad who learns how to swim and disappoint me daily,
What?
Johnny
I
Amizich.
already know how to swim.
Not in these rivers, you don't.
No.
Not in this swamp.
I think Johnny's a witch. We better throw him
Johnny is a witch.
into the lake. If he floats, he's obviously a witch.
Mm-hmm.
Sinks, well.
Wait.
then
I
he
thought it
dies.
was if they sink.
That's an
They're
egg,
not a witch.
Johnny.
Right. No, that's it. But then they die. You die either way.
Yeah.
Right.
See, that was the thing.
Johnny, don't go chasing waterfalls.
Good advice for everybody.
Okay.
Honestly.
This is going to take us on a small tangent, but
Oh, boy.
did you know that there's a theory that the Salem witch trials happened because the wheat or the flour that they ate had some sort of bacteria in it that made everyone hallucinate and made them think they were seeing all this crazy shit that they said they saw.
What kind of good time are they having?
It was a real bad time to be alive back then. Like, not great for anybody, really.
What would have you done? What would have your profession been?
Shit shoveler.
I couldn't have said it better.
Not so different from what you're doing.
That was an actual job in the Middle Ages.
Is that what they called you in Fable? Hey, shit shoveler.
Hey, shit shoveler.
Face, what about you? What would have you done?
Yeah.
What have you been providing the shit for Johnny to shovel?
Well, certainly.
The
Absolutely.
whole town.
I don't know. Like, I'd be some sort of tradesman, I imagine.
You know, have you seen the movie A Knight's Tale?
Yes.
Have I seen A Knight's Tale?
Paul
Come on.
Bettany's character?
Uh-huh.
Been a while.
He's the one that basically just announced. Like, he was the really well-spoken, eloquent, was selling what was happening. I could see you doing that.
Me?
Yeah.
Maybe.
So he'd be like a charlatan
Yeah.
Well, that's just true.
with his
True
fancy
these days.
words.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Bobby, I guess we should throw it over to you.
I mean,
Bobby is big enough that he'd be like a drunken warlord.
Yeah, I was thinking like blacksmith.
that would fit. I could be a smith.
He's got the size, he's got the build.
Yeah.
Bobby the blacksmith sounds like a good
I mean,
name.
shit, back in Skyrim, you would have thought that's all I did because I made a lot of those daggers for XP. I'll tell you that
Yep.
much. Outside of reliving our medieval fantasies, how are you two doing? Doing all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, getting ready for a 3-day weekend.
Hell yeah.
That'd be nice.
You got big fireworks plans? Are you a firework fan? We'll start with that.
I enjoy the fireworks.
Okay.
We do not shoot them off in my family. We got a place where we can go and watch a bunch of other people shoot them off, and that's enjoyable enough.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I like seeing them. It's a good time.
Yeah. Johnny, what about you?
I don't necessarily like hearing them like in the weeks before 4th of July and then the weeks after
Yes.
4th of July,
Yeah.
but
No, my neighbors behind me have been celebrating all week. Sometimes in broad daylight.
Celebrating what?
Our country's independence.
I'm sorry. Never mind. Got confused.
What?
Well, I thought that I didn't realize that they were already celebrating the 4th, but that makes sense on what you're saying. So
They bought fireworks. They've been setting them off every night for the last week, and
it's Missouri. We set off fireworks whenever
In fact,
goddamn please.
Yeah. Gunshot or fireworks.
When Jason and I were hanging out last night, there was an audible boom that showed up on my audio track that I was recording for the thing that we did last night.
Nice.
So that's been fun. But I will be flying this 4th to New York City. So I won't get to see any fireworks this year because I'll be. Well, maybe I will from the sky.
Hey, you gonna get a slice? You gonna get yourself a slice while you're out there?
I'm gonna be landing around 10:30. I'll probably get to my hotel around 11:30. I assume there's a place I can go get some pizza at that time
It's
of
the
night.
city that never
and
sleeps, Johnny.
I will
Yeah,
probably
I
do
believe-
that
I believe you can get a slice of pizza at any time.
anytime.
Yeah.
And I've made reservations for myself on Monday. There's a Liverpool player who has his own pub in New York City, in Manhattan. So I'm going to be going there Monday night, having some dinner, having some
Nice.
beer. It's going to be a good time.
You hooligan, you.
It's me.
That sounds very. I'm glad you are both doing good. I am doing well here myself. We are continually training this puppy to not kill itself and get into things here at the house, which is working out really well for us.
Okay. I thought.
Is this
I
play?
thought.
This play on the stream?
Oh
Yeah.
God.
When I was in New York, that was my New York slice. God damn! I had to take a photo, and I just look at that every once in a
Bobby,
while.
Yeah.
when you were saying training this puppy to not kill itself, I thought you were like speaking in a metaphor for the podcast and just the casual hour in general.
That works
Like,
too.
okay, where's he going with this? This is
No, that works. But we all got a little time off. That's great. Johnny's gonna be flying out. I guess this is a good time to say that there could be some rotating chairs while Johnny's out. So we might see some. We talked about this, I think, on the stream on Monday. But
I will be gone for 2 weeks. I'm going to New York for work, and then I'm going to all over the country for vacation, but primarily Florida and Charleston, South Carolina. And I'll be back at the end of the month.
great,
So
wonderful.
I know that you'll miss me very much.
No, we won't. But tonight, while we have you, we're going to talk about video games, and this is one of the best types of episodes that we do here at the Casual Hour, which is our July preview. So we're going to be telling you all about the games coming out in July that Chase has painstakingly put together for us. But before we do any of that, we got to tell you about what we've currently been playing, and then also what games from June made the cut. And we'll go from there. So, Chase, let's kick it off. What you been playing, man? What's new?
Yeah.
What's happening?
This is going to be an interesting episode because there's a lot of overlap among the three of us.
A lot of
So I don't want to take the lead on all these, but
Okay.
I'll maybe I'll do one and then have somebody jump in on the other one.
Okay.
Final Fantasy VII Intergrade, Intermission, whatever. We talked about that last week,
Yep.
didn't we?
we did.
Yep.
Okay. I played a little bit more of that. I'm still enjoying what's there.
Same.
Tonight or today, actually, Zombies Ate My Neighbors and Ghoul Patrol came out on Switch. That collection.
Very
And
cool.
I picked that up immediately, so I thought, well, let's play a tiny bit of that. Remember an old classic, and I mean that game. I'm not saying it deserves to stay in the past, but it's.
Oh no.
I'm glad I have it on my Switch.
Are you gonna break my heart right now, Chase?
No. I mean, I'm glad I have it on the Switch. I still like a lot of what that game is doing. It just kind of doesn't hold up. It's it doesn't. It's a little.
You're just.
I know.
That's
I
the
know.
case
Stabbing
for
me
a
in the
lot of
heart
things
right
these
now.
days.
Yeah, but I mean that Rock and Roll Racing remake, or not remake, the kind of collection, that Blizzard Arcade Classics collection, that was great. Like that game still holds up completely today, in my opinion. But this one, it just felt a little stiff. It's really easy for the zombies to just rush up on you and you not to be able to have a recourse for it.
That game is hard.
That game gets real hard. I got to the big baby fight, which I think is like level 9.
Remember
or
that
something.
very well.
I don't know if I ever completed that as a kid, because that big fucking baby it just takes a lot of hits. You can't finish the level until you kill the baby, and I can get all the people that you need to get, all the survivors, and then there are 2 cheerleaders that are behind a locked door. And that door only opens once the baby's been defeated. But baby's got a lot of health, and he stomps you, and you get flattened. Yeah, he's a big baby. But I mean, I like a lot of what that game's doing. I think the music's great, and the graphics are cool, and picking up all those different weapons is fun. Just some of the enemy designs, the way that enemies can rush up on you and like that, and it's not as good as I remembered it, but it's still pretty good. I would like to play Ghoul Patrol, though. I never played that sequel
I had
And
no idea there was a sequel, and I think
same.
we talked about that.
So I'm looking
but
forward to
yes.
seeing if that game maybe holds up better, if that's basically Zombies Ate My Neighbors, but with some of these pitfalls filled back in. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, it was nice to get back in there and play with Zeke and his cool 3D glasses and shoot a water gun at stuff. And
How much is
yeah,
that collection?
I
$20.
think it's 20. Yeah.
Okay, that's
I just guessed.
It's
I can-
more. It's like it's 15 or 20. It's something like that. But yeah, it's maybe a little bit more expensive than you want to pay for that game.
It's I was let down by an old zombie myself, Chase, and
$15.
okay.
18. Okay.
It's
That's not bad.
even like some of these games that they've been doing, and I know that's not the case here, but some of these games that have been getting like an HD remaster, like
Mhm.
I get excited about that, but then you play it and you're like, shit, man, like games played really, really differently. And it looks better, but it doesn't feel good. And I think that there's been some wrestling with nostalgia for some of these games that I've had where it's been, in my mind because at the time when you play those, like they're obviously remarkable and they have a great time with them. And your mind can make that game still feel as fresh as it did 20 plus years ago. Whenever you bring it 20 years forward, it definitely is like, oh boy, you are rough. And
I think that's really interesting because some games don't have that at all. Some
Nope.
games you pick it up and you go, this is just as fun, just as innovative and smart and well designed as it was the day I picked it up
Tetris.
back in 20 years ago. Yeah, Tetris, Super Mario World,
All that
Advance
shit.
Wars. Like there's plenty of games that I could just pick up right now and go, yep, this is still perfect. This is still exactly what I wanted it to be. And then there are other games that you're like, man, this was really fun at the time, but the shine is off a little bit.
Rough.
Anyway,
Rough.
another perfect game is Mario Golf for the Game Boy Color. That game, I don't know if you could make it any better, but Nintendo tried apparently, and this is what we got with Mario Golf Super Rush, which is something we've also all been playing.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
a nice change of pace. We actually played this last Friday
We did.
on stream.
Yeah.
On our Friday stream there, and had a good time with it. Bobby and I then did a quick look of it over the weekend, and that is out today. You can go or today, one of those days. It's out.
It's out.
That's what's important. It's out. You can go watch it. We went over all the modes, but we're about to talk about it now. I think the golf part is pretty good.
Yeah, I would agree.
I'm pretty happy with it. I think it feels maybe a touch mechanical. I definitely feel like if I do thing 1 and thing 2 and thing 3, I get a perfect shot every time.
Yeah.
And even the elements of randomness that they seem to try to want to throw in, like, if you hit it with a little bit more power, it kind of has this funnel near the end of the thing that goes, it might not be straight. Like, no, it's always still pretty much
close
straight.
enough.
It's
And even
just,
then
there's
you can
not,
tweak it a little bit post hit.
Yeah.
right. So there's not a lot of, I don't feel like there's a lot of room for finesse, or not a lot of necessity for finesse, because the game just is kind of, hey, you hit these shots and you do fine. But I still like that. I'm still pretty cool with it. I like the courses that I've played so far. I wish they had a few more options on them to maybe turn off some of these obstacles. Like the third course you get is this kind of mountainous area, and it's got these big boulders, big anthropomorphic boulders that roll across. And I wish you could just turn those off when you play that course, because I don't think they really add too much to it, especially if you're just playing the standard golf mode. They're just kind of annoying. But I suppose we should talk about what the real important part of this game, which is the Super Rush part. They tried to kind of combine Mario Golf with Mario Kart.
Yeah.
And I think I think it's generally okay. Maybe it's got a slightly mixed results.
It's an interesting blend because
It's fine.
Yeah, look, it's not. We talked about this on the quick look. We talked about this on Friday when we were streaming it. There's the standard, you can create a golf mode for you locally or online. Then there's some like training shit, but then there's the career mode or the story mode. And the story mode really forces like most of the time you're playing in a rush version. And I gotta tell you, that kind of fucking sucks that they make you do that.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world for me, and I understand like why they're doing it. It's a shtick for him on this. It's a weird concept because traditionally when I play a golf game, it is a very laid back, like methodical, slow burn where they're introducing these concepts from Mario Kart, which you know what, like from like a genre bending like perspective, it works out okay, but it's not fun when you're by yourself, and it's not fun if you're not playing with other people. And I really like got fucking mad playing on the cross country on Ridge Rock.
I just finished that today.
Fuck,
and,
that sucked.
That's not great. That one's even weirder though, because that's not a mode that is normally playable in anything else. It's just for that one course that's an extra gimmick in the story mode. They call it cross country golf, XC golf, and it's a completely different style from everything else you mentioned. So let's go back a little bit. The speed golf, everybody will hit their balls at the same time, and then you run to where your ball goes, and you can use dash moves that can make you go faster. They can mess up other opponents as everyone else is running. There are some items strewn around the courses, some coins that I still don't understand exactly what the coins do. And then there are some hearts that will refill your stamina. You have stamina meters as you dash.
Did you say you don't know what the coins do?
I don't know what the coins do.
That is the charge up for your special shot.
Okay, that makes a certain mess. And I imagine in the actual story mode, those are just some extra coins that you can also get that you can use to pay for equipment and things like that. So the speed stuff, like that's fine. Everybody's hitting their golf balls at the same time, and you can kind of mess each other up like Mario Kart. It's certainly not as frantic as Mario Kart. It is still golf at the end of the day, so you are stopping, aiming, trying to kind of figure things out, but going a little bit faster than you want to, than you'd normally take as you're hitting your golf ball, because you are somewhat on a clock, and they have a couple of different ways to measure performance there, whether it's just trying to get within a time limit, or whether you're the fastest, or whether you still have the lowest score. A couple different ways you can play that, but those are fine. I don't mind the speed golf, but as to Bobby's point, I don't really like that it's the main focus here. Yeah. I think in the quick look, I mentioned how like Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire introduced double battles, and that was kind of cool, but it was really cool because they had them quite sparingly in the game. It was still basically a Pokemon game, but here's kind of a neat gimmick that you can engage with more if you want to. And this game is the opposite. It is, here is our new gimmick, and you will play it all the time until you are sick of it. And you can switch to regular golf if you need to play it, but this is what we're pushing all the time.
I think that it's way better to watch than it is to play that mode. Yeah. And I want to make sure that it comes across here on the show tonight that I really like this game. I'm having a great time with this game. I think it's really well done. I think the last Mario Golf I played was Toadstool Tour. Is that what it was called for the GameCube?
Yes.
Maybe.
I think that's the last one that I played. So this is great to return to it. You all know I love golf games. It's been cool to play with all of you, especially. I'm enjoying the customizations and like the weird clubs. Like I forgot all about how much I like that stuff in the Mario games. I think that's really well done here. I think that generally speaking, like the new courses they introduced, and there's not a lot, there's 6 total. There is a lot of characteristics that go into it. I think there's 16 characters you can choose from also.
There's quite a few, and some interesting ones too. Like King Bob-omb is in there, Charging Chuck.
Yeah. What was the woman's name not just from Odyssey? That she sang the song, The Mayor?
Oh yeah, Pauline.
Pauline's in
Oh,
it.
she's from Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong
Yeah.
and Odyssey, but yeah. So yeah, there are some interesting characters in there. Back to the cross country golf though. It just sucks. It's a completely
sucks.
different rule set
I
where
haven't
you
played
have.
that.
Well, look forward to it. It's coming.
It's
Um,
a big
You said it's
slog.
in the story mode?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm
it's
not
on
playing the
the.
story mode. I don't think the story mode's any good.
What?
I don't know if I agree with that. I think the story mode actually has a lot of potential to it.
What do you not
Okay.
like about
It's
it?
just it's
The
something.
writing seemed
So, yeah,
like-
writing's
It's a golf game.
it's a story mode in a Nintendo game, and Nintendo usually has pretty solid
Dude.
writing in their stuff that has
Not in the
dialogue.
sports stuff though.
I think it's inoffensive. I don't think it's
It
their
seemed
best
fine.
work or anything. It's fine, but it's a
That's the only way
contrivance
to
game to
unlock
play
those
golf.
courses, Johnny.
No, it's
It's
not.
not. It is not.
You just
You can
play
just
18
play.
holes
Yeah.
on any course, and it unlocks the next one.
I learned that. Yeah,
Hmm.
nice.
Interesting.
So now
I played it for like 45 minutes. I was like, okay, this. I don't know if I need to play any more of this. I'll
Well,
just
whenever
play
we bring our
regular golf.
Mii's out, we're gonna fucking
That's
kick your
true.
ass.
That's when you need it because that's the only way to get your experience for your me.
I don't give a shit about Mii's. I think Mii's should die a slow death.
Wow.
That's wow. I'm
Wow.
glad Johnny's going to be leaving us for
Miitopia is
weeks
cool,
to think about.
but
You can't-
Well, hey, buddy,
You
those
can't
are
say
Mii's.
Mii's suck and be like, oh, Miitopia,
Mii's-
that game.
Mii's kind of suck, you guys. I'm sorry to say it.
Wow.
If you drop the
That's-
I and add Indians to the end of it, yeah, sure, I'll give you that, but not Mii's.
Mii's are better than avatars, than Xbox avatars.
No,
Mii's
I
are
had a
better.
little RC Warthog I drove around with my avatar.
Lame.
You really,
they're
like I said,
better-
you love Halo.
They're better than PlayStation Home.
Yes.
Those
Okay.
shitty characters you had from PlayStation.
No
Home.
one listening to this even knows what PlayStation Home is.
That's true.
so-
Nobody does. I barely know what PlayStation.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, let me
I
get this cross country golf out, please.
I spoke out of line. The
Yeah,
story mode is fine. It's just-
we still hate you. Don't worry
Yeah,
about it. Let me talk about cross country golf because people need to know how much this sucks. The idea here is that you're not necessarily on a time limit in the way that you are in speed golf. It's not trying to get things done as fast as possible, but you have to take each shot within 2 minutes. And you also need to run to your ball like you do in speed golf. The problem is that the course that they have with the cross country golf is incredibly layered with a bunch of mountains. So you are having to climb mountains.
That's being kind.
Yeah, or go to specific little tornadoes that are on different parts that can shoot you up. The tornadoes can also shoot your ball up.
So
There's
like
a bunch of
platforming
wind that's pushing it
involved?
back for. Yeah, I mean, platforming is generous. There is just more of running a character into a mountain for a while. It's
40
it's not
strokes, right? 40 strokes to.
It depends on how many holes you do, but yes, in the tournament one that you do, you get 40 strokes to get 9 holes, I believe.
Yeah, and that sounds like a lot, but when you realize that it's spread out in a way that it's not straightforward, and you have to figure out how to get your shot to have more verticality to get up on these layers, then you have to figure out how to run your character up there in a 2-minute window. And sometimes sometimes
Seems like a lot.
It's, dude, there were some times playing it where I was like, you know what, like I might be done with story mode because of how frustrated I was with like it's cheap little gimmick that they put in there. Once you get past it though, they don't do anything else with gimmicks, like, you know, making sure that you have a water bottle because it's hot out and you don't want your water to evaporate while you're golfing. They don't do anything like that on the next world.
Are you sure? Is that a lie? Is that facetious? Oh no!
Yeah,
I did play some of that.
this
desert
water
course.
bottle's perfect for 3 holes.
Wait, how fast does water? Water doesn't evaporate that quickly in a bottle.
Well, if you do a wet bulb test, do you know what that is?
A wet bulb test?
Put a piece of cotton on the bulb of a thermometer, spray it with water. It's actually like you have temperature, heat index, and wet bulb. And wet bulb is how you determine like how quickly your body or your sweat would evaporate. That's really like the one that like will test like, hey, this is gonna fuck you up. So like that's kind of what this is, but not as sciencey.
Bobby, you're my wet bulb.
I'll be your wet bulb. I'll be your Huckle wet bulb.
Mm.
Mm.
Can we please move on from this?
So anyway,
yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot to like about this game,
I do too.
and I think it's a little unfortunate that some of these gimmicks kind of worm their way in. And I'm not saying that this is the only game in town that does that. Golf Story totally does this as well, where some of the later courses just throw in a bunch of extra bullshit. But the thing is, I like Golf Story. I like Golf Story a lot.
Golf Story is really good.
And while this game is quite good, and I think relatively mechanically sound, it's not grabbing me as much as something like Golf Story did. It's not grabbing me as much as something like the Game Boy Color Mario Golf that also has a story mode that I think is much better than this one, and also has just better course design. But there is definitely something about playing this game online, playing it with you guys, and being able to do standard golf. When we're together doing the speed golf is fun. I think that battle golf mode is kind of fun, even though it sucks that there's only the one area really that you get to do it with.
Yeah.
But there's lots of things to like here. I think it's getting a little unfairly shit on in terms of reviews. It's getting a lot of 7s, and I think it's probably a better game than that.
I would agree.
But I also don't think it's groundbreaking. And one other thing that we mentioned a couple times, a good friend of the show, Zach Fleeman, he and I played a lot of the 3DS Mario Golf, the Mario Golf World Tour, and the best feature on that is that they had these asynchronous tournaments. And I know I've talked about this on a number of occasions at this point, but those asynchronous tournaments were just the best thing, where somebody could host a tournament, say we're playing on this course, this many holes, you get a week to play. And you invite the people you'd want to play from your friends list, which is all friend codes, which sucked, of course. But once you had that taken care of, everybody could play on that course as many times as they wanted to, on their own, off, not offline specifically, but you didn't have to play.
Not beholden to.
Exactly. I didn't have to link up with you guys to be able to play. I can just play that course at my leisure, and you wait until the end of that week, and whoever had the lowest score wins that tournament. And it was such a good mode. And this game doesn't have that. And it's not what they're going for. Obviously, with the Super Rush thing, they're going for more of a, hey, play on the couch with people. Hey, play online. Enjoy playing with your friends together. And I get that. I also would have liked that as another mode, though. Because it fits the golf so perfectly to be able to do that kind of, hey, I'll pick this up and then I'll put it down and I'll come back a couple days. And it was just so much fun, and this game doesn't have that, and that's a real problem.
Totally. I think that mode sounds really cool, and I think even for us, knowing that our time doesn't always match up outside of recordings for the show to do stuff, it'd be nice to be like, oh yeah, I got 15, 20 minutes, I'm going to hit a few balls in this and move it forward. That would be...
Well, we all have 3DSs, so we could totally do... Oh, wait, Bobby does.
You have my old one. Maybe you'll let me borrow it.
You sold me yours.
I am looking at... when I end up building that Game Boy Raspberry Pi, I'll probably check out the Mario Golf that you're talking about.
You should.
And see what that's all about. But that's something that I'm probably going to do. I've talked about it on here, but once I know for sure that you guys are going to get your analogs, I'll probably order my kit around that time and build, just to be in the zeitgeist of talking about Game Boy shit. I'll build my little Raspberry Pi at that point in time.
Yeah. So I'm going to actually let somebody else jump in and talk about the next game. I know I will certainly chime in and talk a lot, but I'm gonna let
if it's okay with you two, I would love to take the lead here.
Go for it.
So I don't have a lot to talk about this week. The first game was Mario Golf. The second one, though, really took me by storm, and I think that's one of the reasons why I'm not covering more this week outside of just work and finish up a Gamers on the Go game. Monster Hunter Stories 2 Wings of Ruin Trial hit the eShop the same day that Mario Golf Super Rush came out, and this was already going to be a game I was picking up. I have come to really enjoy Monster Hunter World, and now Monster Hunter Rise here on the Switch. I attempted to play Stories, and this kind of harkens back to Chase saying that we don't have 3DSs. At the time, I didn't. But that game came to iOS in a pretty, for me personally, a pretty crippled way. So I didn't get to see it out, but I remember Chase talking for weeks about that game, and I think that he put damn near the same amount of hours into that game that Johnny and I put into Monster Hunter World, and this became kind of this point of contention between us, like which was the better Monster Hunter. But this was already going to be a pickup for me, as I mentioned. I start this trial up, and that really remarkable thing about playing video games happened, where the level of surprise and the surprise is rising in tandem with your overall enjoyment. And it just like, it becomes that thing that you think about constantly. Like when you're not playing it, you're thinking about it. You're looking up articles on it. You're looking at artwork for it. You're thinking about what you're going to do when you get to play it again. It starts to just consume you. And seemingly for me, like all other games start to fizzle out of your peripheral because you're so laser focused on this game. And that happened with this trial. It's a very generous trial too. This game can be played all the way up until the full release, which is July 9th, and that's a spoiler for this episode, but it does carry over as well. So any progress you have does carry over into the main game.
And that progress is, if you play the full demo, the full trial version, that's a good 4 to 5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's if you're kind of just playing the stuff that they tell you to play.
Yeah.
You can totally go and grind. You can't keep grinding. I think it maxes out your monsters at a certain level.
I think it's at 10, right?
Excuse me. Monsties.
It's 10 or 11. And I refuse to say monsties.
So
sorry.
This, I'll tee it up for you two here. Some things that I really dig about it. So this is a Monster Hunter game, but this is from the perspective of a writer. So hunters are in the game. And that was something that Johnny and I, we've talked about while streaming. We've talked about offline. You always feel a little shitty for what happens in those games, for how you go about, except for one particular monster. But you feel pretty bad for what you do to those monsters in the game. And I think that there's something to be said about, at least what I'm picking up on already a little bit on Monster Hunter Stories, which is the hunters are kind of the assholes in that versus the riders. And the riders are there to befriend the monsters. You can hatch these monsters and then they fight beside you, kind of like a Pokemon, and you can ride them in the game. They all have their own unique move sets that tie into the rock, paper, scissors mechanics that this turn-based game has. But the level that was really resonating with me was like, these are monsters I know. And what was really cool for me is that like I can, in my head, when I would encounter them, start to guess what their rock, paper, or scissor would be based off of how they played in the games that I've played. And some of those times my intuition was right, where I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to be a really fast monster, or this is going to be a powerful one. And that was really cool. And then like also seeing some of the weapons come over and the material that you would have to usually cut up from the monster that would go into crafting armor and materials, you're still getting parts. But the way that you do it in this is like, oh shit, yeah, like I know that armor, or like I know that's like I've had that hammer, and that was really cool. And you're still rotating weapons out in a way that you would in Monster Hunter based off what you're fighting. Like I need something that has a fire element here, or I'm going to be resistant to something that needs, like cutting doesn't affect it here, or piercing doesn't affect it here, but something blunt would definitely work here. And then this really cool synergy that would happen, like, okay, I'm going to do an attack that's strong. Well, I need to swap out my monster. And one of the things that I love that they do, and I promise I'll shut up after this, is that they don't penalize you in the battle. Like if I was going to swap out a Pokemon because I got up against something else, if I did it in between matches, that's fine. But if I did it during a fight, that's a move for me where I can switch my weapon and I can switch my monster out and then still continue my turn, which is a little overpowered, but still I like that mechanic quite a bit.
Yeah.
If you can't tell, I'm all the way in on this game. I absolutely love this game. It's one of the best things I've played this year, and I'm excited to see the full release. I can't wait. I cannot wait.
I will say I think it's going to become a little less overpowered to be able to switch weapons and monsties in a turn, because like some of the later monsters that we didn't face in this trial version are a little more unpredictable. where they have maybe a tendency to use two different kinds of attacks. And are they going to use a technical this time, or are they going to use a speed? I can make a guess, and kind of based on maybe some of their actions, I can make a more informed guess. But it is not going to be so cut and dry as it is. I feel like in this trial version, for sure.
Chase, while you're taking the lead here on this, because I think you're up next on it, I wanted to just kick off a question to you, because this is what I really want to know is, like, it's a trial. I understand it's not the full game. It's a big ass fucking slice of the game, though. How are you feeling overall? Because this was something that you were highly anticipated for. How is it stacking up to the first game, and is it doing anything different already with mechanics that you can call out?
Yeah. I think the best thing I can say about it, the most telling thing, is that I played this entire trial version in one sitting.
Okay.
And like I said, this is like a 4 to 5 hour experience. I put a ton of time into this, so I was having a blast. I'm already thinking this might be game of the year for me. It's that fun to play. And let me tell you this: as you were talking, I pulled up my old Gamers on the Go 2017 list of my top 10 handheld games for that year, and number 1 was Monster Hunter Stories, and number 2 was things like Sonic Mania. We had Fire Emblem Echoes Shadows of Valentia, which honestly that probably deserves to be the real game of that year, and probably the one I like the most. Looking back on it, but Monster Hunter Stories was still extremely good. We had Super Mario Odyssey, we had Golf Story, we had a little game called The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
I've heard
Team
that
World
one.
Dig 2. Like there's lots of good stuff in there, and I thought that was the best game that came out that year. I'm pretty sure I gave my top overall game.
That honestly, you know, now that you're talking about this, for me, like, I was caught up in the Switch. Breath of the Wild, as you all know, like where that is, and Horizon. For me, like those are two games that have such big shadows. And I've changed a lot in 4 years when it comes to things that I enjoy in games, things that I look for, and like there's still some things I'm really looking forward to. I jokingly said in our chat outside of this, like, you all know I'm anxiously awaiting Horizon. Like, I want to know when that game's coming out. I'm so excited for it. I told Johnny, I think I told you this too, Horizon can fucking not come out this year and I'd be content just to play some Monster Hunter Stories. Like, that's how much I love what was going on with this game. Like, I fucking adored everything I played so far, and I'm right there with you. Like, Subnautica, Zero Below, high up there on my list. There's been some really cool early access things I've played this year, but I walked away from my time with that trial, which I'm still playing because I can't get enough of it, and I'm already looking at this as like, this is the Monster Hunter game for me this year. Like, and it's gonna fuck around and do something stupid and end up being in my, like, it could be my game of the year. It could be my game of the year.
Yeah, could be. Nothing would make me happier. But let me tell you a little bit more to answer the questions that you asked. One nagging thing that didn't feel great is that frame rate on the Switch. It is
All over the place,
pretty framey all the time.
Yep.
And this is a trial version, pretty close to the actual release date. I wouldn't be surprised if nothing on that changed, but we could see some patches. Who knows about just making the performance a little bit better, because right now it just kind of moves weird. Like, it feels that it just doesn't look perfect. It's also coming out on PC, and that's probably going to be the spot where everything's going to be just fine and everyone's going to love it there. But as a Switch gamer, first and foremost, that's kind of a bummer that it's not running super great on the Switch.
I would say that one of the crazy things about it too is that where I believe it's getting into a problem is that it's an unlocked frame rate for the Switch. And so certain elements that from what I've been reading online and watching some YouTube videos on it, I haven't watched like a Digital Foundry video yet, but it's getting to a point where there's so much that poor little Switch is trying to do that with that uncapped frame rate that it's really fucking over some of those situations where it is, like, especially in the overworld. But like, if you go into the menu systems, it's really slick. Things move around really good, especially like post battle when they bring all those cards in. Like, that looks really good, and I don't have any hiccups there. But yeah, like this is, give me the Super Switch. Like here's another argument for it. Like I really want to play this on PC, but I have it on my Switch, which I think this game is going to be a long haul. It's going to be a slow burn for me. I'm going to put a lot of time into it, and being able to take this with me places, especially working on breaks, is important. There's probably a way that I could do maybe the NVIDIA like GeForce Now, if it's available on that service on PC, and that would be fine. There are some really cool things that I think will continue to overlap between the games events, between Monster Hunter Rise, which I'm still playing and enjoying. Some of those costumes and stuff that are going between them, I'm a sucker for that sort of like crossover.
Yeah, that PC is not going to have that amiibo support.
It's not going to have the amiibo support,
No,
which we're
it's
picking
not.
up. It's also not going to have, and this is a call out that you threw in chat with us, it's not going to have that co-op either. At least it doesn't have crossplay that I could see. If they would ever offer like a cross save, kind of like what The Witcher did or what Hades has done, where you can play it on PC and your Switch, that's something that I would strongly, like I would double dip on this game to have that. Like take it with me when I needed to, but play it on PC when I could. I would be all about that life.
Sure. I mean, as far as you asked about connection to from the first game to the second game, story-wise, you're playing as the grandchild of the main character from the first game, who I think you had some amount of customization on, but they're calling him Red, and he had this Rathalos. That was a big deal in Monster Hunter Stories, that you got this Rathalos that was your kind of friend main monster character, and that Rathalos is also in this game. Red has passed away at this point, but you're living on this island with this kind of native tribe that is more, of the land and harmonizing with the monsters and is able to be riders that can use them, whereas the hunters are more kind of colonialism. We're coming in and taking these monsters and killing them for our own purposes for them, the hunter style.
Is that the same Rathalos, or is that like an egg of the Rathalos that you see at the end of this?
So the egg that you get from, I think her name is Enna, is an egg that original Rathalos from the 3DS game gives her. So I believe the Rathalos you get in this game, which we don't see in this trial version, but we've seen in the trailers.
Looks really fucking
looks like
cool.
it can't fly. It doesn't have wings, or like its wings are clipped in some way, where you're gonna have kind of this odd Rathalos that might be the key to why all the other Rathalos seem to be going crazy right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's kind of what I know from a story perspective. Gameplay perspective, it plays very similarly to what the first game was.
Cool.
It's possible that there are a couple things like your monster might have guessed. Like in this game, it tells you what your monster is going to do on its attack, and it might have been a straight guess on the first one. Don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like this game was giving me a little bit more control over the kinds of attacks that I was doing, and that helped a decent amount. All the kinship stuff, all the being able to ride your monster if you got enough of the rock paper scissors fights correct, that stuff is all from the first game. There are a couple of new weapon types. Bows are new in this game. The gun lance is new in this game. I think maybe even the hunting horn is new for this game.
Yeah, Johnny, you got your hunting horn here.
Stuff. And it works. And it works like the hunting horn too. Like it has
hunting horn,
special attacks you can do, special moves that do buffs and debuffs. Those options are in there for sure.
There's the bottle cap that you can get in the game for the Palico. Can't remember its name, with the little Palico vendor. It's got some gear that it looks purple, like the icon for it's purple, so I think it's a bit more rare gear that you can grab in this trial version. It's got a gun lance that I think is one of the most badass weapons in this trial. I was doing some pretty significant damage with that, and then I was using a hammer, a gun lance, and I was using a bow. But I'm also like 2 bottle caps away from getting that defender sword, and that thing looks really fucking nasty. But you can also upgrade those, Johnny, so you can still go back and put your zennies into it after you get. So you can buy something with bottle caps, and then you can upgrade it through the smithy and still do all that stuff there. So you can dump money into your armor, just like you could in like with augmentation and actual Monster Hunter proper, you can do
Gotcha.
some stuff like that too.
Was it a melding thing? I haven't seen that yet. You guys have
Uh,
played significantly more of this than I have. I put probably like 3 hours into it.
I put a
I think
lot.
there's whatever that melding is. It's relatively standard. It's hey, you forged this piece of armor or you forged this weapon with these materials. If you have a few more materials and some more money, I can upgrade it a few times, and now it's a better version of that. But it doesn't get much more complicated than that in terms of the buying and making of weapons.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's
Are
great.
you liking
It's
John? Are you liking it?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I've been having a really good time with it. I will be playing this. This will be the game I play while I'm away. I'll be taking my Switch with me to New York, and I'll be taking it with me when we go on our trip to Florida. So I'll be putting more time into this than anything else for 16 days while I'm out of town.
yeah.
I
So we'll definitely be talking about this game more
Yeah.
as it comes
Yeah.
out on the show. I don't want to talk about it too much. Like we're talking about a trial version here, so some stuff could change. And also we have a lot of show to get to, so maybe we should
Yeah,
kind of move
let's
on.
really quick
Yeah.
as we're moving on from it. The trial version is currently only on Switch. If you
Right.
are on playing on PC, there's not a trial for it there. They release same day, but yeah, you can pick up a trial right now, no charge, on the Switch, and you can pre-order that now.
Now, Johnny, you've actually been playing a few other games. You want to talk about those
Have.
relatively quickly?
Yeah. So there's a Steam sale happening right now. And
Isn't there always a Steam sale happening?
To some degree, but this is the big
Okay.
summer sale. This is the one where
Got
they have a theme, and there's like a whole interactive element to it with the store. This is all, it's like story, it's like choose your own adventure mode this year, which has been kind of cool. You get like badges and stuff. Anyway, I got a Steam gift card for my birthday a couple weeks ago, and rather than spending it on one thing, I thought, hey, why don't I just pick up some games that I've wanted for a long time that are deeply discounted right now? And I checked out a few of those. So, have either of you heard of a game called Observation?
Yes, you sent me a link to it.
Okay, yes, I did tell you about it.
I don't think I know about it.
Okay, so this was in like a long Reddit comment someone made on this, like the thread for the Steam sale, just like talking about, hey, these are some games that I really like that are on sale right now that maybe you haven't heard of. And Observation is
I have seen. I think
okay.
I think I saw a quick look of this.
Okay, so it has like clear influences of 2001: A Space Odyssey, but in this case, you are in control of the AI aboard the space station, and the whole opening sequence, and the premise of the game is, you're this AI, and something has happened aboard the space station, and the doctor aboard is talking to you, and it starts with you controlling different cameras on board and connecting to computers, doing like downloading data and like communicating with her, and eventually you realize that the space station has somehow been transported from orbiting Earth to orbiting Saturn, and
Whoa.
the
Through
AI,
the change.
yeah, so the AI's like, well, I did this, but I don't know how, I don't know why. And after that, you get to, she installs like your conscience or whatever on almost like it looks like a Wheatley a little bit from Portal. And you get to fly around. You still can control computers and stuff like that. And it has this very, it's an AI that's potentially gone rogue. You're in space. Like, it has very sinister, like, it's like a thriller basically. And it's, man, it strikes a tone and a mood that I really like. I think it's only like 6 hours long. I played for about 90 minutes. And it leaves a really strong impression. Like for being made by, I assume, is a small team. Like
I heard it has a really strong opening.
It does. Yeah, that's yeah. Like the whole part of like it, your stuff is exploding and like just trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. And I would I would say this is like worth picking up if you like those type of sci-fi stories. And you got, I think it was like $8 or something. Like it's pretty inexpensive right now. I think it's more than half off. And aside from that, I picked up 2 games that I've been saying I wanted to play since they came out, and I just, for one reason or another, haven't. And those are the Lucas Pope games. So I picked up Papers, Please, and I picked up Return to the Obra Dinn. I haven't started Obra Dinn yet, but I did play about an hour of Papers, Please. And that game is it's a mood. It's
It's a mood right off the bat too.
Yep. So Bobby, are you familiar at all with Papers, Please? Do you know the premise of this game?
I'm looking at it right now.
Okay, so you've been hired by this government of this pretty obviously communist country, or some sort of like dictatorship, probably.
It's an older game, right?
Yeah, it came out in 2013.
Okay. It's an older game, but it still checks out.
Yeah.
Has like a Soviet stand-in.
Yes, Soviet stand-in, very like Eastern European vibes. But you are playing a immigration officer or a border officer at the border to this country, and you have strict orders on your first day. Like no one from outside of this country is permitted to enter. And so someone you ring a bell, and you say, next person please, and you say Papers, Please. They give you their passport. You have a rule book that tells you like who's allowed to come in, who's not. You're able to inspect people's passports, and if things don't match up, then you can interrogate them to try and figure out whether or not they're lying to you. But you have complete control over whether or not these people are allowed to enter this country. And at the beginning of the second day, it's like, okay, people from here, here, and here are allowed to come in, but not these people. And so if you screw up, which I did several times, because I didn't catch certain things like, oh, this person's, their passport was expired, or this information didn't match up with what's on file. Like if anytime you screw up, you get like a little fax that comes in. It's like, hey, you did this thing wrong. This is just a warning. But if you do it wrong enough times, you get docked your pay. And you have a family that's with you, and you've been given this apartment that you have to pay rent, you have to pay food, power. So it's a juggling act of, okay, do I want to let this person in? Like, it's very tense, even though it's all like very simple 2D art. It
Fine,
really
I'll pick it up, Johnny.
This mood.
I'll pick it up.
Okay, it's a cool game.
It gets interesting. Like there's certainly the mechanical part of it, where it is that kind of Simon Says stuff that you'll get at the beginning of it of, hey, they can only be from this country or whatever. But then you also have this second layer that Johnny kind of touched on, where you need to do things properly, and there are certain documents that people are supposed to have.
Yeah, like a ticket,
right?
Yeah,
and a passport and some other things, and you're supposed to analyze those things because people can forge these documents.
Yeah,
so you're checking to see, if the names line up in the right spots, or if the photo looks like the actual person. What are you
Thank
showing
you, Bobby.
Was
it like $4 or something right now?
Yeah, it's $5.
But then you'll also get some people who know. Like they know that they don't have the right stuff, and they try to tug the heartstrings a little bit. Hey, trying to get to my family. They're telling you their story. I know my stuff doesn't line up. Please don't reject me. Let me through. And they have a hard luck case. You have a family to feed. What do you do in this situation? Do you let somebody through because you feel bad for them? And then what happens then? Do you get a warning, or or do you get your pay docked, or did that person was that person actually a suicide bomber,
Yep.
which is possible and creates some problems if you
Hey, we've
if you
gotten a
let them
warning
in.
here at the Casual Hour. Thanks, YouTube.
So
Yeah. So like
it's tough.
yeah, for like I think day 2 or 3, there was someone who rushed the fence and threw a bomb, and like the next day there was heightened security. Like it really hits what it's going for, I think.
There are light moments too. There is a recurring character who comes and is trying multiple days to get in. And the first day you reject him because his papers are garbage. Like they are clearly garbage.
Yeah.
He basically just wrote his passport with crayon. So you're like, no, get the fuck out of here. What are you doing? And then like the next day he shows up and he's wearing sunglasses. And he's like, no,
Nice.
I'm a different guy.
Nice.
I'm totally a different guy. You can let me in. You're like, nah, I know you. Get the fuck out.
Get out of here, you.
So it is interesting on a lot of levels, and because you are paid peanuts, you really do have to start thinking like, well, do I need to start going through these faster so I can fit a quota more, so I can help feed my family? But if I go faster, am I going to make more mistakes that could get my pay docked? It's an interesting game for sure. And then Oberdin, Johnny, you said you hadn't started that yet, but I think that is one of the most fascinating games that I've played. And has a really great art style and is very fun and cool to dig through and puzzle out. I think it's a hard game to play again though, because once you
solve the mystery,
stuff.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited to dig into that one.
Anything else, Johnny?
So keeping this Eastern European vibe going. The Metro games. Have either of you guys played any of the Metro games before?
I don't think so.
No.
Know anything about them?
They look depressing.
Yes. There you go.
There's some supernatural stuff in there too, right?
I haven't. Maybe?
I think they eventually get to. Like we definitely saw that in one of the trailers for this newest one, right? Where
I think so.
Like you fought like a giant beast thing.
There are monsters, but I think they're supposed to be from like the radioactivity.
Right. Like a Fallout thing, but less funny.
Exactly. So I picked this up because I've heard like this is a showcase game if you have a ray trace capable video card, which I do. And it was on sale. Oh, you have the same one, Bobby. Shut up. And so I picked this game up. I played it for about 90 minutes, and it is very good looking.
You wouldn't know a thing about that.
So the whole premise of these games is there's a war, and Moscow got bombed into like a nuclear winter, and everyone has gone to the metro underground, and there are all these. There's like a small society there. There are people who fight to keep the monsters at bay that are on the surface, and as far as you know, there's nobody else out there. Through some turns of events that happens in the opening of the games, you realize that Moscow, in fact, has been covered with a blanket radio signal blocker so that nothing can get out, nothing can get in. Eventually...
Can we send you there?
Yes. So you and your wife and her father, who is the leader of this group, this military group, like through a series of other events, you hijack this train that you take out into the country once you realize there are other people out there, and it strikes a balance between extreme bleakness because the world is extraordinarily depressed. Like it's very Russian. Like it's like super bleak. The world is obviously very depressing. There's not a lot of positives, but the squad that you have with you, one of whose actual name is Idiot, like that's his name. He's just called Idiot. They're a bunch of goobers, and they banter back and forth. Like they're clearly making the best of
This is the casual hour.
Situation.
Are you describing your time to casual hour right now?
Yes. and like the mechanics of it, the shooting feels really nice. But the visuals, like I think it's worth spending 30 minutes just walking around taking a look at stuff because the way that the ray tracing works with it.
Sure.
And like it's, I don't know, it's not it's not the best FPS I've ever played, but I had a good enough time with the time I spent with it, and I think that the setting is somewhat unique. There's definitely more of a survival horror aspect to it than I would probably normally gravitate toward.
Okay.
But I like what I've played so far.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Well, Chase, we've heard about what we've been playing currently. Let's kick off this monthly preview with style. Why don't you take it from here and get us going?
I would like to mention real quick first in the chat, Smurf here is asking us about Scarlet Nexus and asking if we've played any of that. I don't believe any of us have played the full
demo.
game. I think we've all played the demo, which we all had a pretty good time with. I played both sides. I actually really liked the girl's playthrough and her abilities there, her more like range stuff. And that's a game I look forward to playing at some point. I just did not have time this month, and thinking about Monster Hunter Stories 2, maybe won't have time next month, but we will see. Who knows what else could be coming out next month? We'll find out here in a bit. But before we do that, we always talk about our recap of the previous month, this month of June. So why don't we get into that here and see how everybody's picks really panned out?
Did we live up to the hype?
That's a good question. So for me, I had Mario Golf, which we talked
Check.
about here. You know our feelings on. Solar Ash, which is a game that did not end up releasing this month. I think it got delayed a little further. It might not have actually ever been coming out in June. I was just picking up what Wikipedia put down. So who knows? I'm still really excited about that game, though. I think every time I see it, it's pretty cool. Zombies Ate My Neighbors and the Ghoul Patrol game, which I mentioned here. Maybe not my best pick, but I still am glad I made that pick. I'm glad I bought that game. I'm glad I have it. And then Final Fantasy VII, which we talked about, the integrate intermission thing. Bobby, you also had Mario Golf and also had Final Fantasy, but you also had Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart and Scarlet Nexus, which we just mentioned Scarlet Nexus, but how did you feel about Ratchet and Clank?
I love it. I'm playing through it right now, having a great time with it. I think that it's mechanically very sound. I like Mario Golf. I'm really enjoying that Final Fantasy VII remake also. And I dug a lot of what I saw with Scarlet Nexus. I plan on playing that. There's a part of me that really thinks that that's going to end up on Game Pass based off of that like exclusive first taste that Xbox had for the demo. I'm holding out a little bit there because I've got more than enough backlog right now, and I want to see where that goes for sure. Yeah.
And then Johnny, you also had Final Fantasy VII, Intergrade, Mario Golf, Super Rush, and Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. You feel good about those picks?
Back? I still need to play Intergrade. I have it downloaded. I just have not started it yet.
Yeah. It's fun. Look forward to that. Now we move into our free games for Xbox games with gold. For the Xbox One, we are getting a game called Planet Alpha, which I've never heard at all. Anybody know what Planet Alpha is?
I don't know.
I'm gonna look it up really quick.
Okay.
Let's look on the Google machine.
Rock of Ages 3, which that is that kind of like a pinball game, like a weird ass pinball game. Rock of Ages games are always pretty cool.
I don't know. A beautiful alien world filled with mystery and danger.
Looks like a puzzle game.
Planet Alpha?
Kind of. Puzzle platforming? It's got some limbo energy.
Okay. Well, it's free. You guys can try it out on Xbox Games with Gold. There is also an Xbox 360 game that is, of course, compatible with the Xbox Series X or Xbox One or however you're playing that, and that is Midway Arcade Origins, which actually is a ton of games. It's 31 games.
A lot.
In one. I'm not going to run down this full list, but I will pick out a few that stand out to me. We got games like 720, games like Arch Rivals. Oh, I love Arch Rivals. That is such a good basketball game. I believe Arch Rivals Is it Arch Rivals or is it Double Dribble that was the? I think it was Arch Rivals. Arch Rivals was the kind of precursor to NBA Jam. So that game has some cool history to it, and it plays a lot like NBA Jam. You got Defender, you got Gauntlet and Gauntlet 2, you got Joust, Marble Madness, Mark Cerny's own Marble Madness, one of the best games of all time. Robotron 2084, Rampage, Smash TV, Sinistar, Super Off Road, which is a fantastic game.
There's a lot.
I love playing that arcade game. You get Tubin.
That's where you find me.
I like Tubin. Tubin's great. Yeah, so lots of good stuff from that. That's a good collection. That's a good collection of games. People should pick that up. And then for the original Xbox, which is also compatible with everything afterward, that is Conquer Live and Reloaded.
Hey, you didn't like Biomutant this year? Fire up Conquer Live and Reloaded.
Yeah, fair enough. Is that the one that's a remake of Bad Fur Day?
No.
No, it's a different one entirely. Okay.
Hey, Conquer is actually the last Smash character you're going to get.
No,
I hope not. That'd be really terrible.
Actually, no, I do hope that. Just because
what was the game
are never happy.
Like there was it was like Xbox's version of Dreams. Do you remember seeing that on an E3 a while ago?
No.
It was the same E3 that they talked about that they showed off Dragon Ball Fighters. There was like some like, oh, you get to kind of like make your own game stuff, and also Conker's in it. It's like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, fair.
Probably better that people don't remember it. And then let's talk about PlayStation Plus. So there were lots of rumors flying around on PlayStation Plus what would be coming out this month. One of the rumors was A Plague Tale: Innocence, because that was getting a PS5 version or a new console version upgrade. So that was heavily rumored. Uncharted Lost Legacy was heavily rumored. I can't remember what the other one was, but there were some big rumors like, oh, this is going to be a big PlayStation Plus. It might have been like Gran Turismo Sport or something like that. Oh, this could be a crazy month. It wasn't quite a crazy month, but, I think there's actually still some good stuff here. Plague Tale: Innocence is on here for PS5 users only. But that is that new upgraded version, which we'll talk about here in a second when we get to the games of July. Also, Call of Duty Black Ops 4. BLOPS 4.
BLOPS 4.
4 BLOPS.
Big
anyone say BLOPS anymore?
BLOPS, baby.
BLOPS. BLOPS is a great thing. I love BLOPS. Like the first couple Call of Duty Black
BLOPS isn't good now, but people liked BLOPS at one point in time.
That's true.
Fair.
Sorry, I gotta write down big BLOPS as a potential title for this podcast. And then if you want it, WWE 2K Battlegrounds. I'm gonna say that's one you can skip.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, you can skip that one.
Is this the? Oh no.
Yeah, so 2K took off a year of their traditional WWE games because they were bad and everybody hated them. And they said, well, if we're taking a year off, what if we gave you this instead? It's fun and cartoony and arcadey. And people went, no, it's not.
Dollar Bin Wrestling, baby.
And it's more monetized than the other WWE games that have been out there. It's not good. Don't play it. But it's free, so play it, but don't play it. Bobby, why don't you hit us with a couple of Game Pass games before we talk about what's coming out this month?
You know it. And as of this podcast, Game Pass is now on all devices, PC, iOS, and Android, so you can check that out there. But
that's not all devices.
Well, correct.
It's a lot of devices.
Coming out tomorrow, Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, that's available in the cloud. Bug Fables, the Everlast.
What does the cloud mean in that context?
That would mean that you can play it on your PC. That means that you can play it on Android or iOS when I say cloud.
Okay. Cool. That's a good game.
Yeah.
It is a good game.
Bug Fables, the Everlasting Sapling, that's cloud, console, and PC.
Bobby, you know what that game is? Have you heard of Bug Fables?
Is it Fable, but with bugs?
No, it's Paper Mario, but with bugs.
Hell yeah, I'll check that out for sure.
Yeah. It's very good. Okay. I have it on the Switch. It's like somebody actually made a new Paper Mario that's better than the actual new Paper Mario.
I'll check it out. Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Another game that we should all play, Gang Beasts. That's going to be on
I
cloud,
would love to
console,
play
and
that.
PC
The game is fun.
July 1st. And then Immortal Realms, Vampire Wars, cloud, console, and PC. That's also out July 1st. And then Limbo, that will be cloud, console, and PC also.
I like Limbo. That's a good game.
Are we ready for
cool.
the big ones? Let me switch us over here and get real official. Ready for this?
Big ones. You got. I understand
Hey.
that. Yes. Gonna talk about what's happening in
Hey.
July.
Here we are.
Yes. So let us start with July 6th. We are getting the 25th Ward, the Silver Case, and also the Silver Case, which are two games made by Grasshopper, which is
Nice.
the Suda51 studio. When I looked up these games on eShop, they're being sold together in a pack called the Silver Case 2425. So you will if you're looking for these, but these are the Silver Case was Grasshopper's first game that came out in 1999, and then the 25th Ward is a sort of sequel to that came out on PS4 in 2018. They're kind of like some trippy-ish detective visual novel kind of games.
Style to it.
Like Phoenix Wright with a much harder, weirder edge, I would say. Yeah. So I don't know much about these games. Even looking up trailers and things online doesn't get you a ton of results. I'd kind of be interested to see what these are, but I'm not super excited about knocking down my door. But these games have been out on other consoles before. They were coming to Switch specifically on the 6th as part of that package together. So you can get those two games then. And then also, we just talked about it, A Plague Tale: Innocence, which is coming to Switch, Xbox Series X, and PS5. The Switch, I'm guessing, is just a straight port of the 2019 game, and then the Xbox Series X and PS5 are the 4K, all the pretty graphic-y shit that's coming out for that. And like we mentioned, the PlayStation 5 version is free if you have PS Plus.
This looks like a real feel-good, wrap your arms around me game. I think
if you like little rat arms to be wrapped around you, then sure. This game is gross.
It looks very gross, but
Just
I'll check. It's free.
Sick.
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
I don't think it's worth the nightmares that I will get from playing it.
Okay.
Chase.
But we are getting a sequel. I think they showed off the sequel at E3 this year,
They did.
And that is A Plague Tale: Requiem. So if you want to get ready for that game, you can play this one now on newer, prettier consoles. Moving on to July 8th, we're getting a game called Boomerang X for the PC and the Switch. This is a... Yeah, go ahead.
Did not like this game.
Did you play this game? Have you played this game?
I have played this game, and I don't want to be sitting here shitting on something, but I did not like the way that this game played.
Was this like an early access thing? How did you play this game?
Demo?
Yeah, there was a demo last year that I checked out.
Got it. Okay. So maybe they've done a little bit to it. Maybe there's been some work on it since last year, but this is a first-person game. You have they say boomerang, but it's more like a glaive.
Yeah.
If you remember Dark Sector and the glaive, fucking glaive. I think the trailer makes it look pretty good. It's being published by Devolver, which is also usually a good sign.
Yeah.
But Bobby, what was the problem here?
So
you just didn't like the way
what you're seeing here on this trailer is, let me back it up a little bit. When you throw that glaive out, you can go towards it, and there was a really weird weight to it. So when you're moving through this, after you, like, first of all, throwing it, it didn't really feel like it had much impact when you would do that. But then especially going to it, it just felt very generic in its movement. The art style's fine. I don't mind the art that bad. It gets a little muddy in some, at least in that demo that I played. And again, like, I'm giving you a take that's over a year old, so take this with a grain of salt. But I just didn't care too much for how it felt, and I think it's a game that really wants to be all about movement and pacing, and for me, it just didn't match up from what my expectations were for it.
Got it. Okay. Well, we'll see about that when it comes out on July 8th. Coming out the next day on July 9th is Game of the Year, Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin.
Yep.
I think I can pretty confidently just say that for the whole casual hour now. Forget every other game that comes out this year.
Should we stop
That's
here?
just it.
Is this it?
We really should just pack it up.
Pack it
But
up.
you've heard plenty of our thoughts on that one. That is coming out for PC and Switch on the 9th. On the 16th, we are getting The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD.
Man, this is such a tough one for me because
see how it all began.
I
the
think
worst 3D Zelda game.
I think from a lore standpoint, it's got some of the best out of any Zelda game. And I do think that Nintendo, like, because even when they first announced that this was coming, they had to be like, well, you know that this is basically the predecessor to Breath of the Wild. And you like Breath of the Wild, right? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I think that there's some stuff happening. And I'm not trying to read the tea leaves here, but there's some stuff happening in Breath of the Wild 2 where I think that the timing of this coming out, when they already had other shit done, they had HD remasters of Twilight Princess and Wind Waker. They could have brought those over just as easy. I think that there's something.
Brought over Twilight Princess.
What's up?
Said they've already brought over Twilight Princess.
To the Switch?
Yeah.
The fuck are you talking about?
I swear to God.
Johnny, what the fuck are you talking about?
I thought that they brought that HD remake over.
What was the name of that character from Metro Exodus again?
I don't think so.
Idiot. It is idiot, isn't it? Johnny, they did not bring that over. Okay. That was on the.
Okay, I must have hallucinated. I swear, dude. I swear to God, I thought they announced that like last year.
Oh, I believe that you thought that.
Yeah. All I'm saying is I think that there's going to be a little bit of a deeper connection to some of the events that you see in Breath of the Wild 2 to the creation of Hyrule. That's all.
I think that's fair. I mean, the Breath of the Wild trailer showed off a lot of stuff in the sky.
Yep.
Like Link flying through buildings and shit. I could totally see that being the case. You know what? I'm actually a little excited for this game. Not to play it. God, no, not to play it. But that I can now watch other people play it on YouTube or Twitch in much higher definition. And that sounds like more fun to me. So
there it is.
I'll do that instead. On the 20th of July, we are getting Chris Tales, CRIS space TALES. That is coming out for everything. PC, Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and Stadia, whatever the hell that is. This is a game that I played a demo of last year, and I can tell you, I think that game was pretty cool.
This one does stuff with time travel, right?
It's kind of got a time travel thing going on. It splits the screen into like 3 triangles when you kind of turn it on like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This side is all future, this side is all past, and then you're in the present. It does some interesting stuff. It uses that time travel in the combat as well that is really interesting, where you can like douse a shield with a water attack and then move everything to the future, and that shield has now rusted because it had water on it and then got sent to the future. And then that shield becomes weaker for the enemy, so now you can do more physical attacks to it. I think there are some interesting ideas in there. The visuals are incredible. It's got a real. It's like a mature Cartoon Network show. Like it's like Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, but if that was done in an incredibly detailed way. Yeah. And it's got a great look. I think the problem is that it's such a detailed look that it's really hard to pick out the things that you're supposed to be looking at from the things that are just background. Now that again is from a demo I played over a year ago, but even seeing trailers, it still looks to be that way. But this game has been like a to be announced on Switch eShop forever, so it's kind of cool that it's finally getting a date. I don't think it's a day one for me. I think there's enough other games that I need to get to, but this is something that I will definitely keep an eye on. It's on my wish list. It might be something that I either buy when it goes on sale, or buy if people go like, holy shit, this game is good, people need to play it. But I could see myself playing this eventually before this year is out for sure.
Very cool.
Also on the 20th, we are getting a game called Death's Door, which I believe was showed off at E3. That is coming out on PC, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. This is from the Titan Souls developer, if anybody remembers Titan Souls, which was a really fun game that was built from a game jam that was kind of like a Shadow of the Colossus idea.
Yeah,
Shadow of the Colossus
okay.
meets Dark
No, I
Souls, but
remember that.
top down. It was really, really good. I believe we've already mentioned him once, but I believe friend of the show Zach Fleeman and I might have done a Gamers on the Go episode about that game. So I could be talking out of my ass, but
Chase,
I know
there's actually some impressions that got released today from a couple reviewers on this game that were pretty damn positive. People are pretty high on the time they had with it.
It seems like Titan Souls, but maybe built out a little bit more. You play as what do you play as? Are you a penguin?
You're a crow.
What?
You're basically
Crow,
a Grim Reaper, but as a crow.
Yes, and I guess like you are. People aren't dying.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. So you need to go out and remind them that they can die.
Time to die.
I'm really excited for this one. I thought it had a really strong showing at E3 this year. I like the style a whole lot of this game, and I'm really excited to dive a bit further into this one. And I'll be checking this one out on PC for sure.
I don't remember if this was one of the games that was Xbox console launch exclusive or if it was Xbox exclusive. But I think it was probably a console launch exclusive.
It's also a Devolver game too.
Oh yeah, I believe that. But it looks really good. I would like to play this. I'm not gonna play it on an Xbox or a PC though, so I hope it comes to something else eventually.
Sure.
For me to be able to play it, but it does look pretty nice.
Yeah.
And that Titan Souls developer Acid Nerve is pretty cool. Just a 2-person development team.
Nice.
On the 22nd, we are getting Last Stop for PC, Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. This is from Annapurna, and it is an adventure game. Did it just have a demo on the Steam summer thing?
I did not see it there. It might have slipped under the radar.
No, that was Road 96,
yeah.
Which is like kind of in the same realm for me of thinking about what those games are. They're both kind of adventure games. Last Stop is despite the name, it's more about just like regular people than being on the road specifically, like Road 96 is. But the trailer looks kind of cool. Or not the trailer, but the gameplay I was able to find here. You play as a few different stories, a few different people in a few different stories that kind of intertwine together at different points. And some of those stories, like all of them, have a supernatural bent to them. This one that you're seeing here is about two people who switch bodies in kind of a Freaky Friday situation, and now they have to figure out, like, okay, how do you live my life as I live your life, and go through some of the adventure-y, visually novel kind of way of making that work.
Look, Devolver and Annapurna, I think, have been some of the most consistent for me. And I'm not going to say that this is like a must play for me because of that, but I think it's a safe play for me based off of Annapurna. And I don't know if I'll be rushing to this game in July, but it's definitely one that I'd like to experience, as I think it's doing some pretty neat stuff.
Totally. Like it for me, it was like, oh, this seems all right. And then you hear Annapurna and go, oh, maybe I should pay attention a little more closely.
Absolutely.
Because they've been doing good stuff lately.
Yep.
Really good stuff, and it's pretty cool. On the 27th, we are getting the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles on PC, Switch, and PS4. This is not a sequel, I guess, kind of a prequel, kind of a side thing to the Phoenix Wright games. This is an ancestor of Phoenix Wright, an early ancestor from, I think, the 1800s. So you're more in, jolly old England and being kind of more of a Sherlock Holmes kind of style.
His name is Sherlock Sholmes.
Sherlock Sholmes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let me go back.
They know what they're doing there.
That's good.
But I think the trailer stuff looks really good. I'm kind of excited about what they're doing here. I've played a little bit of the first Phoenix Wright game and didn't play much more than that. Not because I was having a bad time, just kind of fell off. And while I feel bad, I feel like I should go back and play that Phoenix Wright game instead. Part of me just wants to to play this game.
I've never played any of those games, and I've always
Same.
They're pretty
thought that
good.
they looked like fun.
They're I think it's the first two might be on Switch.
I thought it
I
was
think
a
they made a
trilogy.
collection. Yeah, it might have been a trilogy. You might be right. And then they've certainly made a lot of games. Hollow Justice and some other people who took over the mantle for Phoenix Wright eventually. There was a Professor Layton Phoenix Wright crossover game at one point. They've certainly done a lot with that franchise. But this looks really good, and I don't know if these games are. It's two of these great Ace Attorney games that are in one package, and I guess they're both. I guess it's somewhat similar to that Famicom Detective Club thing, where these were just games that came out in Japan that didn't come out here, and they're kind of being repackaged and put out. I don't know if I think they're being remastered though. From what I'm seeing here, these
Yeah.
look like brand new games. So that'll be kind of cool. I think they look good.
Awesome.
Also on the 27th, we're getting a game called Tribes of Midgar, which I believe was also shown off at E3 or the Future Game Show or one of those things. It comes out for PS4 and PC. Bobby, I believe you're the one who asked to put this on the list. What stood out here to you?
Yeah, this has been hanging out on the coming soon section of the Epic Game Store for a while, and I liked the art style a whole lot in the previews I saw for it. And then I saw that this is a pretty big co-op game, and up to 10 people playing co-op, and PvE stuff that you can do with it. I don't think it's like an MMO by any stretch, but it looks to be more of like an action RPG. It's got some really cool cell shaded looks to it. I think that you can pick different classes and customize them. It starts off not too dissimilar from a little Viking tale that
Yeah, I was gonna say this looks vaguely familiar.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, are you really just excited about this game because you need another Valheim in your life?
I like the style of this one.
Look at this. There's crafting. There's
I know,
building.
man. I'm like,
Oh,
this is
fuck.
like this is very much my
Man,
shit.
it's just isometric Valheim. God damn it! I
Yeah.
thought we were past this.
I think it looks really cool. I'm gonna check this game out for sure. I don't think it's too much. I think it's like $20, maybe more.
Okay.
But this is, I think, PC only right now.
No, PC and PS4.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna check this one out. I don't know how soon into July, but this is one I want to hear a little bit more. I want to hear some hot takes on this game before I play it. But it looks like there's some really cool abilities in it. The monsters look really cool. They're showing a giant here right now, but the idea of being able to play something that looks to be a little, I don't want to say it's Diablo, but some of the isometric elements of it for sure harken to that. And I think butting up, and it looks like there's some different rarity that you can pick up on your drops and your items. I don't know how much of it's crafting your items as it is finding your items. It might just be bases that you're building it for protection. But I'm excited to check this one out. And
Cool.
I think it looks really good.
Well, the 27th is a pretty busy day. So we've already got Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, Tribes of Midgar, and now our next game, which is Neo: The World Ends with You. This is the sequel to the DS game, The World Ends with You, which also got a Switch port last year, 2 years ago. Came out a little while ago. So they made a new one of these. People are really excited. That's one RPG series that I just have not played. I own it,
You think- this
both on the
style looks
DS
good.
and the Switch. It's
Yeah,
a
it's
really
got a
cool
cool
idea. It's a lot about fashion. It's a modern. It takes place in the modern world. You're putting on clothing or putting on accessories that will give you faction rep as you're fighting. One of the interesting things about the combat system is you actually control two characters at the same time, and because it was on the DS, they were on two different screens as you fought with them. I can't remember how
clever.
the Switch combined those together, because the Switch obviously is just one screen. So I'm not 100% sure how that all got coalesced together, but pretty cool. And I know this has been a big fan favorite, and it's cool that we're getting a second one. And also, there's an anime out for the first game now. Like they're put out an anime that kind of retells the story of the first game. which kind of ties into where this one goes. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
It comes out for Switch and PS4 on the 27th. Also on the 27th, Microsoft Flight Simulator for the Xbox Series X. This has been out on PC for a while, but now we're getting the Xbox Series X version.
Ooh.
And I like this.
I want to check this game out. Johnny was really hot on it. I think that I would have a good time with it.
It's a fantastic podcast game.
I could bust out the old HOTAS and play through this a little bit.
Yeah.
Totally.
You've got a better setup for this than I do. I was just using my Xbox controller.
Chase,
and then
maybe I can take you for a little flight. Maybe we can go. You know what? We could fly across the pond and say what's up to our friend Preston. How about that?
Absolutely. We could fly a little further and get to Japan, where we could play our next game that also comes out on the 27th, Samurai Warriors 5.
Hey, is this a Warriors game?
Warriors game. I've never played a Samurai Warriors game, though. I've played the Warriors Orochi games that has some Samurai Warriors characters in them. I don't know much about Samurai Warriors. I know Nobunaga is in it. He's important. That's about it. But I can tell you that new Dynasty Warriors, I think that was Dynasty Warriors 8, was bad. Real bad. They tried to change the gameplay formula up quite a bit, and people did not like it, including myself.
Okay.
This game looks much more traditional. It looks like what they've been making for a while now. It's the big battles. It's more of a story-based thing. You can switch out. You have 3 characters that you bring into battle and can switch them out at any time. Like switch them out to different points of the map, so you can get into the action a lot more and less riding horses around. So it is kind of that Legend of Zelda Hyrule. What the fuck was it called?
Hyrule Warriors.
Yes, Hyrule Warriors. But Bobby, like after playing a game like Hyrule Warriors and being the world's biggest Warriors fan now, are you going to pick this one up?
If the casual hour demands it, I might make it so.
I'm kind of into what I'm seeing here.
It's got a cool style.
I prefer. I like Japan stuff over Chinese stuff most of the time. Dynasty Warriors I got into, and I really like the Chinese history stuff in there. And honestly, learned quite a bit about Chinese history, at least from that period. I would be kind of interested in learning.
Really, at some points, I'm seeing this
it.
as like very cel shaded. It looks like Borderlands at times, and then other times I'm like, those look a little bit cleaner than what I expected. But I think it looks good. I think it's got a nice look.
Yeah, like I think it's got maybe like some like Street Fighter 4-ness to it, where it's got kind of some of that art style of, hey, I'm doing one of these crazy attacks, and you see like the ink splotches come around, like more of that calligraphy kind of look. Yeah, I think it looks kind of good, and I'm probably going to end up picking this up. It's coming out for PC, Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. The Warriors games have not run the best on Switch in the past. Hyrule Warriors actually played pretty darn well, but I could see myself probably picking this up on PlayStation instead. But that is the end of the games that come out on the 27th. We're almost done here. On the 29th, we're getting The Ascent for PC, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. This is an isometric squad, or it's a co-op. It's a co-op shooter as well, right? Yeah, you could totally play co-op as well. I think it's got a nice look. You're in totally this cyberpunk-looking world. It does sound like it's got some maybe Borderlands style humor from how I'm hearing some of the people talk in this. But
I am excited. This is a Game Pass Day 1 game, first of all.
Yeah.
I think it has cross-play, I'm pretty sure, between console and PC. Okay. I have been following this one for a bit. I cannot wait for this one. This will be day before my birthday. I am pumped for this one.
Sure. Well, I mean, hey, a game set in a cyberpunk setting has never let you down in the past, so I don't see why this one would.
Way.
That's a true fact.
Also on the 29th, we are getting Blaster Master Zero 3 for the PC, Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. I remember when they first showed off the Blaster Master Zero, or the original Blaster Master Zero, and I thought that was cool. Like, oh, hey, you're taking this classic game concept and you're bringing it more into like a modern era. It still had that tinge of Blaster Master where you had the tank parts and the out of the tank shooting parts, and then they kind of added some like this is the treatment I think we wished Mega Man would have gotten. It would be great to have some Mega Man games that kind of took inspiration from this, but they did a great job with the first one. I didn't know they made a second one, and now there's a third one coming out.
I had no idea. No idea.
But these games always look cool, and it's coming out for lots of stuff. It might be one to take a look at. Seems kind of nice. Also on the 29th, I might screw up this name. I think it is Fuga. Not Fuga or anything like that. Fuga
it's
Melodies
Fugga.
of Steel. Excuse me?
It's Fugga.
Yeah, I'm going to say no to that one.
Okay.
I don't think that's correct. It's coming out for PC, Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X.
Everything.
And that's Stadia, so not everything. Very important that we mention the Stadia. Somebody has to.
A relevant platform. Why wouldn't we mention it?
It's just good point. It's a good point. It's a tactical strategy game, so I have to talk about it.
Yeah.
But it seems kind of cool. It seems kind of furry, but it seems kind of cool.
Is it set in? I can't tell. Is it like an older setting? Like an older? Like it looks like kind of like steampunk a little bit.
Yeah. Apparently, this is from some longer running series of not strategy games. I can't remember if they were RPGs or if they're visual novels or what, but this is kind of an offshoot of that series that is a tactical strategy game.
I don't know, Charlie. This one's got some BCE.
God damn it. You are a bunch of kids, bunch of furry little kids, and you decide, fuck this war sucks. We're going to do something about it. And then these kids find this giant tank that they can all ride in together. And it kind of reminds me a little bit, what's the, is it Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time? Where you could have your different people in the space station, the spaceship, and you have to run them to different parts of the spaceship to run like the shields or the guns or things. So it's a turn-based strategy game, so you don't have to actually run between them, but you are assigning the kids to different aspects of the tank. I want you guys on these kinds of guns. I want you guys here on this, armor repair or whatever. Yeah, and it's kind of got a Fire Emblem system where the kids will bond, or a little Persona maybe in there as well. The kids will bond, so when you put them together, maybe they get some bonuses as they're driving the tank as you're doing the battling. Okay. And the combat kind of looks Advance Wars style, where it kind of slashes the screen in two, and you see the fight going on in that sense, and that seems all right. I don't know. I think it seems pretty cool. It could be all right.
The Soul Cannon.
So we'll see about that. That comes out at the end of the month, though. We got a couple of games that do not have firm release dates. One is Little Devil Inside. That comes out for PC, PS4, PS5, and Xbox One. This game is absolutely gorgeous. It was kickstarted it was kickstarted a long time ago. It was supposed to come out at the end of 2015. It's 2021 now, so that did not happen. We saw this at E3. Was it E3 a year ago? Was it like the?
It was shown off at one of the Sony events.
This was from a showcase last year. This trailer that is in the document.
Okay. Yes, that's correct. I believe the only reason that Wikipedia was telling me that it was potentially coming out in June or in July is because Sony put out something that said it might, and then Sony immediately took that down. I highly doubt this is actually coming out in July. But I'm mentioning it here, but we'll probably push this to another month and talk about it more then. But it does look very pretty.
Yes,
and it's something I'm pretty interested in. And then this will come out sometime this month. We just don't know when. That is Pokemon Unite. Johnny and I are going to have to unite together because I believe we both have said that we would play a game like this if they made it, and then God damn it, they made it.
They did. And
so we have to stay true to our word.
Eat your words. Eat them.
I don't know if I want to.
I don't know if I want to either, but this is the Pokemon MOBA, the Pokemoba. It is also coming out to iOS in September.
This was inevitable.
Yeah. I really wanted to live MOBA free if I could. But
you know me, MOBA free.
I do know you, MOBA free.
MOBA free.
That's it.
That's the games?
That's the games of July. So now all that's left to do is talk about which ones we think are good.
Yeah, let's wrap that up. There's some good ones here to pick from. Chase, why don't you kick it off?
Oh, sure. Hey, that Monster Hunter Stories 2 game looks pretty good.
I agree.
Big thumbs up for me.
That's pretty much it. You know what? That's not fair. It's not fair for me to say that's the only one I'm excited about. I mean, I think games like Chris Tales look pretty good. We talked about that Fuga Melodies of Steel that I'm kind of interested in. Samurai Warriors 5. There's a lot of games that I feel like I could pick up, but if I'm honest with myself, I will only really be playing Monster Hunter Stories 2 this month, and then maybe going back to some older things. I want to finish up something like Final Fantasy VII Intergrade. I want to start Nier, and then Smurf has been telling us a lot about Scarlet Nexus, and that demo was pretty good. So that's something I could totally see myself picking up and playing as well. But like Monster Hunter Stories, that's why I'm here. Yeah. So that's all I can really recommend with a good conscience.
Totally, I think that's fair. I got Monster Hunter Stories high up on my list. I talked about the Ascent. I'm really excited for that one. I think Tribes of Midgard looks really cool. I put that and then Slash Death's Door, both of which I think have a great look to them. I'm gonna probably, I'll check this stuff out. Like I'm gonna be playing mostly Monster Hunter. But you know how we are here at the show. Like we get anxious if we're not playing multiple games at once. I did download a bunch of shit from the Steam sale that I'll be playing throughout July. We got quick looks to record, if nothing else. So those are my picks, but I do see Monster Hunter Stories 2 Wings of Ruin being way, way up on the things that I'll be doing all throughout July.
Yeah. Same for me. As I mentioned, I'm going to be gone more
not
than
soon
half
enough.
Of this month. Away from my computer, away from my other consoles. So probably just be primarily Monster Hunter Stories. And I have, like Chase, a lot of things I want to wrap up from this month still, including Final Fantasy VII. I still haven't played that. I know it's only like 5 hours.
Favorite game you've ever played.
So should be easy to get through that. But there was other cool stuff I saw.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I will be picking any of those up at this time.
That's fair. That's totally fair. So, Chase, big thank you. You always do a great job taking us through this. There's some pretty cool games sitting Game Pass available. If you're watching this with us live, available tomorrow or available right now, depending on where you're at. If you're listening to this, go check out Game Pass. A couple new games that got added to it. A couple new good games that you can pick up on PlayStation service also.
Pick up those PS Plus games before they go away. We got that Virtua Fighter 5. What else? The Operation Tango. Is that it?
Yes.
Sounds right.
Definitely go pick those up before they're gone.
But something that we can talk about. So there's a few things here. We're playing a lot of games throughout the week. So Mondays are casual Mondays, and we did XCOM Chimera Squad this past Monday. Chase had not seen that yet. It was fun to go back and visit that game. I think it still does some really cool stuff. We've moved our show, as you all know who are here with us, to 10:30 p.m. So if you're listening to this and you want to watch it live, twitch.tv/casual hour, 10:30 p.m. Wednesday night Central Time. You can hang out with us as we record.
Better Johnny's gonna have to fix this link.
Yeah, we've made some adjustments. I got to fix a few of the graphics, and Better Johnny has to fix it.
Yeah, you need to turn him into Best Johnny.
Best Johnny. But if you take that link in chat, that will take you over to there's a link to our YouTube page. We've been posting a lot of quick looks, and we've got one. If you're listening to this right now, we talked a lot about Mario Golf Super Rush. There's a quick look up right now for that. We also put out a new game from the Steam Game Festival this week. Really badass turn-based mech battler that has an awesome style called Wolfstride. That's definitely worth checking out. That demo is really, really cool. I think they still have
Bobby likes anime now.
I am anime, Johnny. Step up.
True.
And that was a lot of fun. So those are up right now. We got some more planned for next week. We'll probably sprinkle in a few more of those Steam Next Fest games. We did quite a few quick looks on it, but picked up a few new games from the sale, and we got some stuff on Game Pass. So a lot of fun stuff happening on those quick looks. Those are posted on YouTube. Check those out. This Friday, Chase is going to be going out of town for the holiday, but Johnny, I think you and I are going to hang out again, and we might do a little golfing.
I hit the links.
Hit the links. So if you want to hang out with us and chat, let us know. If you want to play that game, hit us up where you can hit us up, which is at the Casual Hour. DM us. We can get you in there if you're hanging out with us. If you want to play a little bit
Slide
of that,
into those DMs.
slide into the green links in our DMs, please.
Hey, Bobby.
Hey, Chase.
Nice on.
Nice on.
Nice on. But yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10:30 p.m. Twitch.tv/Casual Hour. We record a podcast every week. Next week is a What You've Been Playing. The deep dive, we're still working out some kinks on that for July. Chase, however, my man Chase, I got to update Johnny needs to update some stuff there for you as well.
Yeah.
Because you've got some crazy shit going on yourself.
It's changed. Yeah, so first, what's not changed is Gamers on the Go. That's still around. And also still sporadic as ever. There will be a new episode.
Maybe if the person you asked would just actually commit to beating the game that you asked him to beat. We're past the deadline you gave him. I don't know what his problem is.
Yeah, he's a real piece of shit.
He's a real asshole. He's a real asshole, that one.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Someday we'll get there and we'll do that episode. But there is that Her Story episode I did with friend of the show, Pierce Corshane.
True.
That's up, and you can watch or you can listen to that at gamersonthego.com. And I know Johnny and I've got some ideas kicking around for some stuff, but we could use some analog pockets before we dive into those.
Yeah, we'll get
that's
there
eventually. That's not on us. That's on analog. So no new episodes there. But yeah, the other thing that Bobby was alluding to, the new thing, is that I've been playing Super Robot Wars X on my YouTube channel and having a lot of fun with that. Johnny actually was on an episode that won't be out for like a month because I'm so far ahead on recording these things. That was a lot of fun, and thanks to Johnny for coming on for that.
Yeah, it was a good time.
It was a good 2 hours,
robots.
that's for sure. It was a long ass thing, and I'm sorry I kept you so long, but it was fun, and that'll go up. But Bobby actually helped me brand my YouTube channel now that it's becoming more of a thing I'm regularly posting to, and I think that's going to be something I continue to do even after I finish Super Robot Wars, which won't be for a long time, but when I do finish, I will play something else. And so that channel made sense to turn into something more proper, and that has become Chasey K Plays. So you can go to that. I've got a Twitter account now for it, so I won't be spamming people on my main account with all these links to videos of games that I've played. So you can find that twitter.com/ChaseyKPlays. You can enjoy that there. And then the YouTube channel is still the same channel, so you can keep going there and seeing all that Super Robot Wars content, and sometime in the future, some different kind of content. That's all there.
Yeah, I'm excited for you. It was a lot of fun to partner with you on bringing that visually to life, and I'm excited to see where it goes beyond Super Robot Wars. A lot of good reasons to hang out and check out YouTube in between our streams. Chase's YouTube, our YouTube, really cool stuff happening there. Johnny, what about you? What are you up to outside of our streams?
I've been staying up late the last few nights watching
Oh,
Oh well,
he ain't
I
been
guess
doing shit.
I think he was going to say he's been watching Neon Genesis Evangelion because he's been telling me about that.
You
And
know
I'm
what,
very proud.
Chase? This is the best Johnny's been on the show
This
ever.
this is pretty.
Oh my god, did we lose
Oh
him?
no! Well,
Is he coming back?
oh.
Johnny's been dwarfed into two little dots.
Man, we were so close to being out of this.
I know. Let's just, you know what? Let's just call it there. Here's what he's been doing.
Yeah, yeah. He's been watching Ava. I'm very proud of him. It's exciting that he's watching good anime. He's also watching Gundam with me, the original Mobile Suit Gundam, and that's been fun as well.
Absolutely. That's going to be our stream and our show. I want to say thank you to everybody who tunes in each week to hang out with us as we record this. It's a lot of fun hearing you, or not hearing you, but seeing you in chat and what you're sharing with us there. We really appreciate. We will be back Friday with some golf. Chase, I hope you have a great long weekend. Be safe getting to where you're going. I will do my best to embarrass Johnny on the greens.
Please do. Somebody has to.
And then I'll connect with you soon, and we'll talk through and put some stuff out about what we're going to be playing on Monday night for the next Casual Monday. But be
I've
safe.
got some ideas. I made a list.
Hell yeah. That's what I like. That's what I want to keep you around for. Everybody take care. Play something new. Drop us a line at the Casual Hour where social happens. And we will talk to you all very soon. Take care.